So I've had just about enough of the mainstream media trying to shove its bullshit narrative down our throats yet again. As it relates to this Amber Heard Johnny Depp stuff, you know, I've said this before. They were late to the party. Actually, they never made it to the party, most of the mainstream media. In fact, they still haven't made it to the party on this story. They're still outside trying to figure out, you know, how to get in. And so they're pissed. They missed this story. And it was right under their noses, in fact, okay? This was something that you could have, hey, mainstream media, you could have been covering this story for months. You could have been covering it for years, right? But instead, what did you do? You ignored it. You swept it under the rug. You said it was dumb celebrity stuff, or you just went along with the narrative that Johnny Depp was an abuser, and so why even really cover this story? And so what happened is a bunch of YouTubers and LawTubers and amateurs, as I know you regard us, we beat you to the punch. We got here first. Well, you still haven't gotten here, like I said, actually. And so, you know, you missed this. It was right under your nose and you missed it. And you are pissed that you missed it. But not only are you pissed that you missed it, but you're pissed that you don't control the dominant narrative on this thing. The public has gotten behind Johnny Depp, and they've gotten behind Johnny Depp, first of all, because of what happened in the trial, but also because of a number of people on social media and on YouTube and on TikTok and Reddit who have been spreading the gospel of truth in this situation. The truth, which is that Johnny Depp was not the abusive one in the relationship. He was the victim, and Amber Heard was the abuser. And so, yes, she defamed him repeatedly on this point and deserved the verdict that she got in this defamation trial. And you just cannot, you in the mainstream media, you just cannot stand that that is allowed, that dominant narrative is allowed to stand, and that you didn't have any part in shaping it. And so, you know, like some spoiled kids who didn't get their way, you're going to stamp your feet, you're going to stomp your feet, and you're going to shake your fist, and you're going to put your bottom lip out, and you're going to say, meh, sexism, meh, misogyny, meh. That's not what this is, okay? What's going on, all right, and the reason why people got so charged up about this situation, and the reason why Amber Heard has gotten so much deserved public ridicule is because of the outrageousness of her conduct and the fact that you in the media suppress discussion of it, okay? And so on the one hand, you have this situation with this woman. I mean, this is an insane, juicy story. This woman, this actress who marries this really huge movie star, and they have this tempestuous relationship where she is very abusive to him and takes advantage of him, and then they get a divorce, and she goes on this destructive campaign of defamation against him. That is a really and she conspires in this kind of hoax to defame him and to burnish her activist credentials in the process. That is a huge story, and you missed it in the mainstream media. You missed it. You suppressed it, actually. And, you know, some of the people in my audience know that I am interested in Freud. And one of the big ideas in psychoanalysis and Freudian psychoanalysis and beyond is the notion of repression. And that when you repress something that you shouldn't repress, when you repress a truth, for example, then it doesn't go away. In fact, it just grows, that feeling or that idea. It just grows and remains there just under the surface, unconsciously or semi-consciously, but very powerful nonetheless, very strong, and it will seek ways of expressing itself. Now, what I'm saying is that the more that you repress something, then in a strange way, the stronger that it grows, right? And what has been going on for the past years, okay, for several years at least, is that the mainstream media has been suppressing, by and large, has been suppressing the truth about this story. It's suppressing the story entirely, actually, in a lot of respects. And beneath the surface on social media and on YouTube and on Reddit and whatever, The truth has been told. You've had YouTubers out there, and a number of them before me, but you've had YouTubers and people on social media who have been telling the truth, who have been spreading the word on this. So, for example, the most damning piece of evidence against Amber Heard in the court of public opinion is clearly those audios, the recorded audio conversations that she had with Depp. And it is very clear, and I've said it before, but it's very clear when you listen to those audios, when she says to Depp, you, quote, run away from every single fight. You split during every single fight, okay? What that tells me, and a lot of other people who happen to have brains, is that, oh my God, this guy is not the abuser, because here she is complaining that he's constantly running away every single fight. And she says it several times. So clearly, he's not the one chasing her around trying to beat her up, right? And then when you listen to the audio, he basically begs her to not get physical. He says, if things get physical, we have to separate. And then he says to her, you start physical fights. And she says, yes, I did start a physical fight. Like, she admits on the tape, on the recording, and this isn't news to people who've been following this. It's only news to the idiot mainstream media, I guess, who until several weeks ago hadn't even heard these tapes. But she admits to hitting him. She says repeatedly, she said, I was hitting you. I was hitting you. I was hitting you. I don't know what the fuck motion of my actual hand was, but I was hitting you, she says. So it's all there. It's all there. But the mainstream media couldn't handle this narrative, or didn't like what it meant. Didn't like the fact that it demonstrated that you could have a woman who, in a calculated and premeditated fashion, would go after a man on trumped up Me Too allegations, trumped up abuse and assault allegations. The mainstream media didn't like that narrative. And they had already backed Amber Heard early on, from that early moment when she did her little walk, her little outside the courtroom in 2016, hey TMZ. Ever since then, she's gotten a free ride with the media, Amber Heard has, up until very recently. But what's been going on is that beneath the surface is a narrative that you and the media have been suppressing, and that narrative has flourished on YouTube, and it has flourished on social media, and you didn't realize it. You were caught off guard when suddenly this whole thing exploded when the trial began. And suddenly, YouTube videos about Amber Heard are getting hundreds of thousands, millions of views. And law-tubers are getting the kind of viewership that a lot of you, including CNN Plus, wish that you could have. How's that CNN Plus thing going? I think I read somewhere that when it premiered, it only got 125,000 views. So my YouTube videos, some of my YouTube videos do better than CNN Plus. So I see what this is. This is jealousy, and this is also a discomfort with the fact that you and the mainstream media have not shaped the dominant narrative. And what happened was you got caught off guard. This thing exploded. It became a huge story, and you saw all of these people, these law tubers and people on social media and YouTube who were having all of this success and were running away with this story. And you thought, well, there's got to be something wrong with this. This is not the right state of things. Okay, so you latched onto this narrative that, oh, of course, it's misogyny, it's sexism, it's woman hating. This is going to be terrible for all victims of domestic abuse. It's terrible that we don't support Amber Heard in the name of supporting women, believing women. And that's the narrative that you have propounded since then. Okay. And so, what I want to say is it's not our fault. Those of us who actually keyed in on the truth in this, keyed into the truth and have been promoting it, it's not our fault that you were late to the party or never got to the party. And it's not our fault that you apparently cannot distinguish the truth in this case. I have been watching on Twitter, and I have seen a number of blue checkers who have been talking about this case and have been defending Amber Heard and have been attacking the way that this case has been portrayed by Depp supporters. And these blue check marks that I've been watching online, it's amazing the contortions that they have to go into to acquit Amber Heard. It's amazing the contortions they have to go into to justify their position. When the truth is so, if you just take 5 minutes and listen to even a bit of the audio that I'm talking about, it's so obvious, you know, and it's linked. It's linked on my YouTube channel. 5 minutes straight of Amber Heard admitting to abuse, admitting to violence, and berating Johnny Depp, and berating him for always running away every single time. You know, Amber Heard, her testimony was shit. There were so many problems in her testimony and so many things that she's contradicted herself about. And the fact that she cannot produce photos or medical records of any kind to verify the kinds of horrible injuries, you know, a sliced up back and broken bones and all of this, and, you know, split lip and everything she says she has. And she couldn't produce medical records of any of it. Apparently, you know, I guess she just used really good homeopathy to just get over all these problems. You know, the real thing, you know, I have a story for us all. Now, this is an interesting story. I want to know what kind of homeopathic remedies Amber Heard uses to heal broken bones and what was the other stuff? Sliced up backs and all of this horrible stuff that Depp did to her that apparently never required any kind of medical attention. It was the Amicur cream, right? Never mind. Duh, come on, Kristen. Anyway, it does make me angry, though. I don't get angry very often in doing these YouTube videos. Not really angry, but it is really enraging to see what they are calling us, what they are saying that we are in the Depp community, and a kind of obstinate refusal to look at the truth on their part, on the part of the mainstream media. And it's not surprising. I mean, it's been going on for years, for decades, right? But it is still upsetting. And what I want to say to the mainstream media is, we're not going to stop. And it's not just Depp either. There are some other men who have been falsely Me Too'd, and I've talked about them on my channel. No, not all men. No, not all accused men have been falsely accused, but there are a number who have been, and I've talked about some of them on my channel. And guess what? I'm going to keep talking about them, okay? And you in the mainstream media and the blue checks and all the critics and stuff, you can say that, oh, we're misogynist and we're doing a disservice to victims, and oh my God, what has the world come to, and the pearl clutching and the hand wringing and all of that. You can do as much of that as you want, but we're still going to keep telling the truth. And as long as I have a channel or an outlet, and I may get banned or blocked or whatever happens, right? But I don't think so, because I think when people look at my stuff, they know I'm telling the truth as well. They know I'm not about bombast and spectacle here, you know, and neither are a lot of you, okay? And so yeah, Amber Heard lost. Everybody with brains saw her for what she was and saw the situation for what it was. And it is totally appropriate that she is getting the criticism and the lampooning that she is, because she did some outrageous things. She went on a multi-year campaign against a man. She participated in multiple types of deception and obfuscation, and she did construct a hoax, and she got other people involved in it. And then she proceeded to lie about it in the UK court, and then she proceeded to lie about it in American court, and she did interviews, she wrote op-eds and all of this stuff. The extent of her brazenness and the diabolical nature of this, it is kind of extraordinary, and it is very much a story worth covering, and it is very much a reason to criticize Amber Heard and to take some satisfaction in the fact that finally, after many years of doing this stuff, that finally she's being held to account. And I don't see a problem with that. All right. So everybody, I'm going to be talking about other stuff. I'll check in occasionally, you know, and we'll talk about the latest with the Depp Heard situation, see what Johnny Depp is up to, see what Amber Heard is up to. So I'm not leaving this story, but I am going to be moving on to looking at other things. So I am going to be covering the case of Marilyn Manson. And speaking of Marilyn Manson, TMZ reported, you may have missed this, you know, and all of the hubbub over the Depp verdict and everything, but TMZ reported that law enforcement, LA law enforcement, that has been looking into the Marilyn Manson case for a while now. You know, they raided his home, they searched his devices. It's been an ongoing investigation, right? Evan Rachel Wood has commented on it. She commented multiple times the investigation was going too slow and they're dragging their feet and all of that, right? Well, law enforcement sources told TMZ, and I do believe that this is true because I had a conversation a couple of months ago with one of the detectives on the case, and this was, you know, this was the impression that I got. But law enforcement has found that the victim is, quote, has, quote, credibility problems, that there are credibility problems with the victim. Law enforcement said that to TMZ. And so, look, credibility problems, basically what's happened is they figured out that Evan Rachel Wood is full of shit and that she is involved in a hoax with Ilma Gore. This was the woman, you know, who was basically her co-conspirator and appeared in Phoenix Rising a lot with her and helped her to type up the fake FBI letter that Evan used to help recruit other women to go after Manson and also to get a leg up in her custody hearing with her baby daddy, Jamie Bell, who also in court said, to paraphrase, that she was full of shit. You know, it's amazing. I just want to say this one more thing, okay? I understand that Manson's image is much more problematic than Depp's, that he cultivated a public image that's disturbing and problematic. And I understand when people say that there are multiple accusers, and so it's more likely he's guilty. But it is interesting to me when I see people in the community that supported Johnny Depp. It's interesting when I see some of those people having a kind of a knee-jerk reaction that, oh, of course Manson is guilty. Of course. That's what you've learned through this process with the mainstream media and with the world of sensationalized celebrity coverage. And that's what you've learned through this process of discovering how hoaxes and conspiracies among several people can come together. And all of that stuff that we have learned through the Johnny Depp fiasco. It's suddenly now not applicable with Manson. Suddenly the media says this, so okay. Or there's several women saying this, so okay. Well, guess what? Johnny Depp had several people conspiring against him when this situation with Amber Heard was really at a kind of a low point, right? You know, she got some of her friends to go in on her with this in certain ways. And of course, Whitney as well. So this idea that people can't conspire or that you couldn't have several people falsely accusing someone, after what we've learned in the Depp trial and what we've learned about the media and the disingenuousness of the media and the kind of craziness that celebrities draw in around themselves, it's inconceivable to you that Manson perhaps is innocent, that maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. So I would just say, you know, you don't have to believe Manson. But please take the lessons that I hope that we got from the Depp situation that just ended. And let's try to apply them to the Manson situation. And let's try to hold our breaths, you know, or exhale and reserve judgment until we have a full picture of things. And I invite you to look at my channel and check that out. I'm also going to be talking about some other situations on my channel. And then I want to start getting into some of the content that's dear to my heart in a creative way. I want to do more philosophy videos. I know some of you have been hanging on just for the philosophy videos. So I will try to get one out in the next couple of days. And I want to do some things about film and literature and stuff like that. But I understand that these celebrity cases are the things that are most interesting, and so I will continue to cover them, and I believe in them, like I said. All right? Okay, everybody. Bye-bye. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, hit me up, PayPal, Patreon, super thanks button below, whatever, and I'll see you later. So anyway, interesting development there, and again, look at my videos and check it out.